Well, hello everyone. Welcome to today's Christmas special webinar where we'll be discussing what influencer marketers will be doing in 2026. Now, today's is a very special one because we're joined by the dream team at Modash, the Mo Gals. And first, we have Anna and Kevin back, who leads our influencer partnerships program and will be sharing why long-term partnerships are here to stay. So, hello, Anna.
Hi, everybody.
It's great to have you here. And next, we're joined by the lovely Whitney Blankenship, our senior content marketing manager behind Modash's surveys and blog. And Whitney will be diving into why affiliate programs are set to rise in 2026. So, hi, Whitney.
Hey, all.
Honestly, guys, it's so lovely to have you. Now, whilst I have you guys here, I want to know, what are you asking for Christmas? Anna.
That's such a good question. I've actually asked for something quite simple, but it's one of my simple pleasures, I guess. Really good olive oil. It's so expensive, and I feel like it's such an underrated item in the kitchen that, yeah, that's one of those things where I feel like I can use it up, it's sustainable, and yeah, olive oil.
Love that for you. Guys, let us know in the chat what you will be asking for Christmas. But Whitney, how about you?
Honestly, if I really think about it, I have everything I need. And the only thing I don't have is the replica, like the movie replica coffin from Nosferatu. Like, that's really it. I just don't think Santa's got it like that, is the problem.
That's such a good response. And guys, we have a lot of people across the world today. So hi, Catherine from London. Hello, Sarah from Belgium. Another Sarah from Minnesota. Where are you from, Whitney, in the States?
Complicated. Originally West Virginia, but I grew up in Delaware.
Oh, cool. Mariam from Kansas City, Alice from Brazil. We have Maddie from Algarve, Portugal. We just had a great time in Portugal, didn't we, ladies, at our offsite?
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Go Modash.
Dubai, Tallinn, Pittsburgh, South Africa, Madrid. Guys, welcome so much to today's webinar. Now, we actually do have a poll for you guys. So here we go, the first one. And I'm intrigued to know how your 2026 influencer program planning is going. Maybe you've got it mapped out. Perhaps you've got a good start and you've got a rough plan. Or maybe you've just started, or maybe you've not started. So go ahead and answer. Now, I'm just going to do a little introduction of myself. So hello, my name is Simone, and I am a content producer and influencer marketing expert here at Modash. Now, from 2012 to 2022, I actually worked as a professional influencer, working with brands like Amazon, Look Fantastic, The Body Shop, racking up over 41 million views on YouTube alone. However, today I work as an in-house content producer here at Modash, where you'll mostly find me on TikTok and YouTube sharing insights on influencer marketing, e-commerce, and the latest industry news. Okay, let's reveal the results from poll number 1. How are you guys feeling about 2026? A lot of people loving the fact that you want olive oil for Christmas, Anna, but it looks like a lot of you got a good start and a rough plan, and a few of you are just starting. Okay, well, the outline for today's webinar will be super simple. We're going to learn how influencer marketers are planning to run their influencer programs in 2026, and to understand how this has really changed on a wider industry level. And the outline will be super simple today. We're going to hear insights from our 2025 influencer marketing survey program, and then we're going to get our thoughts on what that means for 2026. And then we're going to have a fabulous Q&A session. It's my favorite part of the webinar. So do pop your questions to the right using the chat. And today, for the first time, I'm actually the first presenter. So what's going on in 2026? So first, we are going to delve into niche creators. Our survey data told us that over 80% opted to go for niche influencers over celebrities, and approximately 60% of those reported much better performance than previous years. Now, this is because niche influencers tend to have higher engagement rates, meaning more feedback and support from their communities. And they're also likely to be better priced than those larger creators and celebrities. Now, here's actually a real example from my own career as an influencer. So, when I was a full-time creator, my niche was beauty and specifically unboxing beauty advent calendars every single year. Honestly, I am such a Christmas fan. It's my kind of vibe. So, this video here, which is the Elle Beauty Advent Calendar 2021, this video roughly had around 100,000 views, so not in the millions. But that video generated over 140,000 in sales for the brand. And that's just from one video. Now, in turn, that relationship actually turned into a long-term relationship. And in 3 years, so between 2019 to 2022, I generated over 350,000 in sales for the brand. So it does go to show how niche creators can really generate huge, huge results. So how can you find niche creators? Well, you could search for them on TikTok and Instagram, but to be honest with you, manually doing it can take a very long time. So to save you time, you can use influencer discovery platforms like Modash to do all the heavy work for you. You can also look at a niche creators suggested or also lookalike creators. I love doing that. Now, story fit creators are very much powerful and very underestimated. The creators you choose, they don't need to be already talking about your product category. Instead, you can look for authentic need, moment, or live context where your product just naturally fits into their story. It's like when Huel teamed up with Tom Rocks Maths and Courtney Nilsson. Now, both of these creators are busy teachers, and Huel was just the perfect product to promote to make their lunchtime and their meals much more healthier. And they actually documented that in their classrooms, which was pretty cool. And the best thing is that you can turn top performing affiliates to long-term paid ambassadors. So on that note, I'm actually going to hand over to Anna, who will be talking about long-term partnerships.
Thank you so much, Simone. Yeah, long-term partnerships are definitely here to stay. If you take a look at this graph, you'll see that 85%, nearly 85% said that they would either maintain or even expand long-term partnerships in 2026. And that, I think, is great news because I personally think it can be so frightening to commit to a creator long term, right? But it's definitely a strategy I personally am planning to place a lot of bets on again next year. And if we look at this slide, you'll see exactly why. Long-term partnerships build authenticity and credibility unlike any other. It allows your brand to really show your product, right, in everyday use. And you get the unique opportunity to really build a convincing storyline without exhausting the audience too early. And that means, for example, that you can test new creative angles, you can take more risks, right? And you can also take community feedback and questions and concerns on board and, yeah, really present your brand in a very authentic way. Another benefit is definitely that you have partners that are briefed and ready to roll when your management's last minute requests come in to promote something last minute with your influencers. You have them ready in your backlog. They're briefed and they're ready to go, which definitely saves you time and money and a lot of stress. In my personal experience, negotiations often really take the same amount of time, whether you negotiate for like 1 or 2 deliverables to be posted within 4 weeks or 6 months. Which means once you negotiate a package deal, you save a lot of time and often can actually get a much better deal as well from the brand perspective. We also had Rugile from Burger talk about another very underrated benefit of long-term partnerships in our last webinar. And I'm going to play what she said for you.
Basically, the result out of it is that you get a lot more organic product placements and content that is not forced and is more authentic.
There we go. While it can be super scary, fear not. starting small is definitely permitted. And today, if you take one thing away, I would love to encourage you to think of long-term partnerships as the opportunity to establish a storyline and a narrative. So whether that's with deliverables across 3 months or 12, it doesn't really matter. Think of long-term in terms of story commitment rather than time commitment. And there's a few very simple ways of how you can get started, whether you're a big brand or you're just starting out with your influencer program. First, think of the partnership as using it to build awareness, then engage the community before focusing on conversions. And as with any influencer partnerships, start off by finding a creator that you think will be a great fit. So like Simone said, story fit is great, but also look at the insights, the demographics, and the content that they post. Obviously, they need to be a match, right? And here's how one of our Modash customers do it. You might have heard of a little brand called Stanley. They actually test by seeding first. So they send a bunch of products out. And if they receive positive feedback, if, for example, the influencer is really excited about the gift, or if they start, posting it in their stories, they usually arrange for 1 or 2 trial collaborations first before committing to longer term partnerships, which I think is a pretty safe way to get started, actually. So there's barely any risk involved here. And long-term partnerships are actually a great incentive too. If you have an affiliate program, you can, tell the affiliates that, you're interested in a long-term partnership, and that often leads to closer relationships. And I think they really should be the baseline for affiliate programs in general. Which already brings me to the next point, because I believe that affiliates are also very relevant still in 2026. Whitney, what did the marketers you surveyed say about affiliate programs?
Great question, Anna. As it turns out, if we take a look at the next slide, when we polled our marketers and we asked them how much they were investing into their affiliate programs and performance-based compensation for 2025, most people said that they were, like 85% said that they were either maintaining or increasing the investment that they were making into those programs, which makes perfect sense. The economy is getting a little, she's shaken a little bit. She's getting a little tighter. And so it's normal to invest in something that has ultimately a pretty high reward with low overhead in terms of work and investment if you've already got your program set up. The issue with that is that creators are starting to push back a little bit. If we take a look at the next slide, we had actually polled our marketers in 2024, and we asked them if they felt that influencers were becoming more open to affiliate compensation models and affiliate programs. And a lot of people said that they were. And this kind of bounced backwards in 2025, where nearly a quarter of our marketers were saying they need a flat fee to go forward. They need some sort of guaranteed payout, which makes complete sense. Again, if the economy is starting to contract a little bit, restrict, it's getting tighter. If it's getting a little bit tighter, then naturally, just like all of us, we're all looking for guaranteed income. Under 21.7%, it says it was about the same. Thanks, Sen. So that means that ultimately, marketers had to get creative about, sweetening their negotiations, not just with affiliates, but with influencers in general. And so we asked, what were the best negotiation tactics, not just for closing the creator, but which ones were also the most ROI friendly? And funnily enough, what won out for both categories relative to all the other answers were non-monetary incentives. So one of the things that we did was we followed up with those marketers and we asked them, what are you offering to creators? How are you making these deals more attractive? And a couple of people said it was really about the VIP treatment. So like early access to products, It was freebies, event invites, like flying influencers out for in-person events, which we saw a lot of in 2025. And then another thing people said was high personalization. So this might be getting creative input from the influencer, co-creating content or different products. One marketer actually came back and said that she had sent a creator a fully customized one of a kind product. And what a wonderful way to delight your influencer. And then obviously circling back to what Anna was talking about, long-term collaborations always sweeten the deal if that's on the table, if that's a reality. Don't offer this if it's not reality. These things are definitely not excuses to like not pay creators or to underpay creators. These are just ways to sweeten the deal, but we definitely want to make sure that we're being fair about the way that we're compensating creators, even with tighter budgets. But that's just my hot take. Simone, do you have any other hot takes for us?
I actually do. So to recap what's just been said, niche influencers are winning, long-term partnerships are here to stay, and affiliate spends continues to rise. Now, I just want to zoom out and share a few more trends that I've been seeing in the creator economy and what other marketers have been predicting on LinkedIn. First, we're seeing a rise in nostalgic campaigns. So think Kylie Jenner bringing back her King Kylie era, or Creola teaming up with the Sidemen. I absolutely loved those collaborations. So I think that we're going to see campaigns shifting towards reminding people why they love them in the first place, as opposed to chasing trends. Second, a bit what Whitney just said, reactive influencer marketing is definitely taking off. And a great recent example of this is Heinz sending Molly May 3 personalized cans of beans after her viral moment with her daughter Bambi. And I reckon we'll likely see more brands jumping into key cultural or creative moments with hyper-personalized products to spark organic reach. And when I was an influencer, this for sure got me sharing on social media. One brand sent a t-shirt with my pet pig all over it, and I was obsessed and I had to post it. So definitely the hyper-personalization. And finally, the continued rise of communities. Now, more brands are actually inviting their customers into real life experiences, just like when Tyler only invited their top customers to their Westfield store opening recently. So it's all about building deeper loyalty, not just running those one-off campaigns. And something that has not been said, I also think there's going to be a lot more creator-led brands. So we see Salt killing it. We're seeing so many more creators create these awesome brands and telling stories on social media. So I'm very excited to see more of that in 2026. Now, across LinkedIn, Janan says that B2B influencer marketing is slowly becoming the #1 growth strategy in tech. And Georgia Branch says that in 2026, one and dones are done. The biggest winners will co-create series and live on creator channels and build long-term audience buy-in and not just one-off ads. And I completely agree as well. So it'd be great to get your thoughts. Please pop your questions and thoughts in the chat because, guys, we are here and ready for the Q&A section. This is my favorite part. So should we kick off with a question? Oh, we have personalization means the world and drives organic posting by 1,000%. I completely agree with you, Elle. 1,000,000%. What do you guys think about personalization?
Well, again, I mean, like what I mentioned earlier, if you can get a bespoke product to your influencer, they're absolutely going to post about it. Like, who wouldn't?
What would you like? What would you? If someone could send you a personalized thing, what would it be?
Can I say the coffin from Nosferatu again, or like? No, I mean, I posted on LinkedIn about Berga sending me a really cheeky email because it doesn't take a lot to delight your customer. You just have to do something different, and you have to be creative and think outside the box. And I know that those sound like a lot of buzzwords, but it is really true. Just having something that is a little bit more delightful than thank you for your purchase, confirmation number. Like, obviously put those things in the email, please. We're some of us are tracking, please. But also like just having something a little bit more creative is enough to do something interesting.
I agree. Anna, how about you? What product would you like?
Yeah, I'm just like nodding because I agree so much. I have had similar reactions to just a heartfelt email. So for example, this year actually, I'm already in 2026. A couple of months ago, one of my partners that I'd worked with for a long time went on maternity leave. And right before it was time, I kind of sent her an email just because I was like, oh, I can't really imagine not talking to you for a few months. And I just sent her my best wishes because I feel like, the personal touch is something I genuinely, meant in that moment. And she was so excited about it and she was so happy and so grateful. And then I've also received no feedback at all after sending a $100 worth gift box to some others, you know what I mean? So I feel like, don't get discouraged if you can't put big spend behind something. If you have a card, if you have a pen, write someone a letter. It sounds so simple, but people can be really grateful if their personality permits.
I also just want to say that when I received the package from Berga, they had a handwritten note. Thank you for the kind words on LinkedIn.
That's so
nice. When I tell you like that is a full circle customer experience, sometimes a handwritten note by a human being is delightful. Absolutely delightful.
I agree. Okay, let's move on to the next question. How long should you wait between collaborating with the same influencer? Currently, I wait 8 weeks minimum. Thank you, Zen. Anna.
Yeah, I was like, should I take this? I think it really depends on the platform and also on your offering. Those are the first 2 points I think that you should definitely keep in mind. So, for example, what I would do for Instagram stories, if there's one campaign and I want to reinforce a message, you don't need to wait 8 weeks to, remind someone of your main offering or main message. And if it's, for example, on YouTube, you're playing a completely different game anyway, so you want to think of like long-term results. I think 8 weeks is good, depending again on how long for. Experiments, do 4 weeks. I think depending on the format, you can definitely do more frequent if you have a story to tell, because if it's always the same 10% off, might not be as interesting as an actual story to tell.
How about you, Whitney? Any thoughts?
I don't think I can really expand on anything else. I think you've said it all, really.
Excellent. Sometimes it's nice to experiment with different assets. So you could work with a YouTuber, perhaps just go on another platform, maybe do some Instagram stories, perhaps just change it up a bit. That's what I used to do with brands I worked for a long time. Usually it was kind of like a monthly deal, but they were kind of spread out between different platforms. So that could be another approach. Yeah.
Now, like we had a lightning bolt in between. I would also say that the only thing that I would add to all of this is that it also depends on the price point for the products that you're offering. And I think this probably falls into your offering that you were mentioning, Anna. But like, I often think about the Ruggable purchase that I made, where I discovered them from a YouTuber that I was following, but the actual customer journey lasted for over 18 months.
Wow.
Is if you're investing in something, if you're really like, if it's a more expensive product, for example, there's a lot more trust that needs to be built. And so, yeah, I think it's really going to depend on the price point of your products. For makeup, FMCG, like go nuts, but other things, it's going to be a longer wait time for sure.
I have this is a bit me being a bit creative, but you could actually put influencers in the comments and you could do that. And that's a whole thing that might be happening. But how would you recommend integrating an influencer and affiliate motion to maximize ROI and balance flat fee spend versus performance-based compensation? Thank you, Chantal. It was a bit of a tongue twister there. Who would like to take this one? Anna, Whitney?
Yeah, I'm happy to kick off. When I read that question, I feel like one of the most asked questions of all time. I would say stay flexible, right? So Whitney can probably elaborate on that in terms of sweeten the deal and the other things that you can offer, but definitely be flexible with a flat fee and a payout per deliverable or per view. So yeah, just be a bit creative and see what actually works for both people. And I would always tell my team not to negotiate down just for the sake of it. Sometimes a good deal is a good deal, and sometimes all it takes is someone to offer something and the other person to say yes, and it can be really simple. Yeah, I hope I got that question. I don't know, Whitney, if you have anything. I have to read it again.
Yeah, there was a lot in there. Yeah. I think definitely, like, if you can't get it to a point where both of you are happy with, like, for example, the non-monetary incentives or other negotiation tactics like bundling or whatever they might be, then yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where, you know, it's give and take. You have your budget that you have to work with. Hopefully, like, this one influencer isn't making or breaking both your budget or your campaign, in which case there's other things to look at. There's other things to work on. But I feel like there's definitely a balance between making sure that you're getting a good deal for the amount of budget that you're investing, and then also, like, making sure that your creator is being paid fairly, is getting, you know, compensated for the work that they put in. Certain deliverables are not going to have the same price point across the board because there's just more that goes into it. So yeah, that's a tricky one to answer. And the best thing I can tell you to do is just keep testing, keep, you know, testing out different influencers, different community sizes, different budgets, different offerings, different negotiation tactics, and just see what works the best for you and your creators.
I can talk from experience, but it was so easy for me as an influencer when I was working with brands that I just absolutely loved. So they found me because I was organically talking about them, and then we just struck up a relationship. And I think it gets easier when you have a long-term relationship, when you know that influencer well and you know what kind of you're going to get out of them. With the advent calendar stuff, I've worked with brands for years, 8 years I've worked with them. It just gets easier and easier every single time. And I think, you know, just taking from that experience, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, those videos generate great return for the brands that I was working for. So I think it's just making sure that you are paying that creator fairly. So, you know, looking at like sentiment as well, comments, you know, what else is happening with the content itself. But it is a very tricky one to answer, but I hope we've kind of given you some direction. But great questions, guys. Let's move on to the next one. Just conscious about time. What is your take on influencer creators for the World Cup 2026? I want to go.
Go, Simone. The first thing that came to mind, in one of my slides, we saw the Stanley example, and they had done a collaboration with Arsenal, and they had a personalized cup for Arsenal. So, I mean, to translate that into, you know, a bigger sort of scale football world, absolutely. I think there will be different campaigns from different brands. Also sending influencers to events. We see this with Formula One a lot. So I think that'll definitely continue happening as an event. You know, you'll have probably the credit card providers, you know, inviting influencers with reach to like premium view boxes. So yeah, absolutely. I think it'll happen. I think it'll be part of the strategy. I mean, it's part of political strategy, right? So I don't think we can see a world in which a big event like that isn't being promoted by influencers.
I would love to see a lot more women promoting the World Cup, especially. You know, I played football when I was younger, and I think that would just really encourage a new wave of girls to get into football. And I think that'd be really, really powerful. And I hope we see brands enforce that. I really, really do. How about you, Whitney?
I honestly want to see brands get creative with it. Like, I feel like there are some influencers that are super, super obvious when it comes to like large events and sporting and stuff. But I want to see somebody leverage like the single mom influencer who's talking about like the World Cup playoffs as like, this is my key family time, blah, 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 blah. Like that could be super, super interesting. Imagine like, I don't know. I was trying to think of like who partners with the World Cup. I'm so not a sports person. I don't know if you can tell. But I was trying to think like who partners with, the World Cup. And I was thinking, oh, Domino's definitely does stuff. And like you could have like, that mom influencer that, gets pizza night and it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole event for her family. Like that could be a really, really interesting and kind of out of the box way to use influencer marketing for something like this. So that's just kind of what comes to mind. I'd like to see a lot of creativity. I think there's a lot of room for creativity.
Yeah,
Ron,
I hope.
do. Yeah, sorry, Anna, but Ron, let us know.
Oh, I just wanted to give a very bad example for
go,
a campaign that went live recently. You can all look it up in your own time, but Dua Lipa advertising the Winter Olympics in Milan. And I just thought it was such a bad fit. The script was terrible. I don't know how you guys feel. That's my hot take. Please create better campaigns. Story fit for the win.
Love that. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. But Ron, I want to know what you're thinking. I'd love to pop what you're thinking in the comments. Okay, next question, please. What trends are you seeing on how to price fixed rates for influencers? Thank you, Megan. I mean, can I take this one? Start this one, because even though I don't really work as a full-time influencer anymore, I am still getting inundated with affiliate offers and affiliate only offers. And I think cold outreach with affiliate anyway is hard, because when you're an influencer, all you're seeing is like, if you don't want to pay me, like that's the message that I get. And if I accept just the affiliate only model, then you're not going to pay me ever, because why would you? Because you could move on to someone else. And that's what a lot of influencers are feeling with affiliate only offers. So I personally would like to see them both kind of work in harmony together. I think they definitely do work in harmony. However, I do then say as well that you do have like kind of smaller creators who, do a fabulous job at creating content, and they work great on affiliate only. I just think you just have to like weigh up who you're talking to and what you're asking, because sometimes brands want everything. They want you to create a reel, they want you to have they want advertising rights, and they want that for nothing. So I just think you have to be super cautious with your cold outreach in particular. Anna, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's pretty much exactly what I would have said. I think it's yeah, I have nothing to add. Actually, yeah, you summarized it.
You look like the lead for an News Gen Z Netflix comedy, and I'd binge it straight through. Thank you, Chantal. Love that.
If only chat knew that I was educating everyone on what a light bright was just before. We're an elder millennial out here. But I will take the Gen Z. I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it all the way home. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Curious is nonprofits have had such success getting influencers to help tell their story without being paid. So thanks, Steph.
Ooh, yeah. I mean
this is it. I mean, I got an example of this. So I worked for Shelter when I was an influencer, just because of it. It fit into my story, especially growing up with experiencing homelessness. And they offered to pay me, and I said I didn't want the money. You're going to give me the money, I want to give it to someone else who was in need. And I exactly did that. The money, they're like, no, choose where you want it to go. And I gave it to a girl who was homeless and with her daughter, and she got back onto the housing bidding. Anyway, it's a whole story. And as an influencer, if it's for a good cause, I personally wouldn't mind doing something for free, like genuinely. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it really depends again on the campaign and the extent, right, to which you're asking anyone to work. I definitely think there's a use case there. I'm thinking of Bernardo's, which are a fashion, like a secondhand charity in the UK. And I know the people who run creator partnerships with them, and sometimes you'll get them to do photo shoots, etc. And obviously there is more time involved in it, and there's definitely some fees, but I think people are generally open to master deals, or to, maybe they get a couple of nice things that they can pick the outfits or something like that. So definitely try your luck.
Whitney?
I think it's definitely a trickier one, because I think that, this is where looking in your followers, like, for example, if you are a nonprofit and you have people that follow you, looking for people within your own following who have followings of their own is a great place to start, to find people who believe in your cause. And I completely agree with both Anna and Simone that this is going to be completely dependent on the amount of work that you're asking of people. And then, at the end of the day, like, if, for example, you're an influencer who supports a certain cause, it's also going to look good for you to be doing collaborations with a charity, with a nonprofit. And so that kind of does a sort of a double PR boost sort of situation. But yeah, absolutely. I would start with, your own following, see who has a following among your own following. And those are the people you want to approach, because they're already into your cause. They already believe in what you're doing.
That's a very, very good bit of advice there, Whitney. Okay, next question, please. How have you seen the sweeping DEI reduction policies at large corporations trickle down into the influencer marketing space, affecting casting for campaigns and opportunities for diverse creators? Thank you, Elle. Who wants to take this one first?
I'm just like, me.
You're not making it easy for us. Go for it.
I love this question, and thank you for noticing. And I think it's so important that these things continue to be raised wherever possible. From where I stand, this is mostly affecting well, no, that's not true, but it's happening in the US, and I think it's actually impacting the whole world. What I've seen is actually a rise in Black female-owned influencer marketing agencies. I see a lot of talents being put forward specifically, with that in mind. I saw a great example the other week. Someone shared how they pitched their talent, who were wearing a headscarf and stuff, and they were pitching them for underwear, for an underwear brand. And it's just so interesting. I think we're actually still in a time where, now those voices are needed more than ever. And I haven't personally observed in any channels that I'm a part of, in any of the communities, also the US-based communities, I haven't noticed any differences, other than in general, more a movement towards, hey, we're looking for diverse talents. So hopefully that'll continue.
Excellent. Whitney?
She's a minefield, this one. I don't have a whole lot more to add, just that I definitely, from a consumer perspective, take note of the brands that are promoting more diversity. And I definitely take note of the brands that I have seen being a little clumsier with their marketing messaging. We'll just put it like that. And also who are not promoting diversity. And I can't agree more with Anna that we need more of those diverse voices today, more than we have ever needed them.
Completely agree. Great responses, guys. Thank you so much for that question. It was a fantastic question.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Any advice on building a band of ambassadors directly from a brand versus working with an agency so that ROI can work harder? Thank you, Maddie. Who wants to take this first? Anna.
Yeah, I feel like, oh no.
You're the expert.
So Yes, thank you. With ambassadors, so I accidentally created like an ambassador / affiliate program in the past with a brand where I just didn't want to negotiate, and then it turned out to be like super successful. So I think what was the question exactly? Sorry, it was so long and nuanced. Can I take another look, please? Thank you. Yeah, advice on building it directly versus agency. So it really depends on your capacity. It's like what do you like? How big is the company you work for? Are you one person show? Are you running this whole thing? Are you expected to get, lots of ambassadors on board? Also with ambassadors, I'm kind of assuming, I'm not sure you mean maybe affiliates or not. I don't know if there's a nuance there that perhaps it sounds like something that needs to be scaled. I'm selfishly plugging Modash because genuinely, yeah, sorry, this is like, I didn't want to do it, but for anyone who doesn't know me, I was a Modash customer for like 4 years before joining, so I'm allowed. No, but genuinely get a tool, get any sort of like tools that help you. It doesn't need to be Modash. Like it can be a spreadsheet that you love and that you can actually work with. I also love spreadsheets. So yeah, try to build something that is scalable. Don't rush things. Like invest a little bit more time in the beginning to test, trial and error. You can do small things that actually are very easy to get inbound leads. You can like create a landing page, pop them onto your socials, get people to sign up through Typeform. Like make it easy for yourself to manage the inbound leads. And in terms of maximizing ROI, that's also a funny one, right? Because yeah, you might pay like 20% agency fees, but if they actually invest so much more time and they, in the end, help you generate so much more revenue, it's kind of, it might be worth it if you trust them. And there are a bunch of great ones out there. But if you want to keep control, obviously, you can do it in-house. If you manage expectations with management, that's my top tip.
Manage expectations with management is such a perfect.
And
I completely agree.
What are the key metrics you're reporting on with influencers / long-term influencers? Thank you, Alice. Do you want to follow up, Anna, with that one?
Yeah, what do I report on? I sometimes like to look, well, the usual stuff, right? What's the average CPM? What's the average cost per lead? All those KPIs that are important for your business. But what I also like is really allocate some time and report on other metrics that are not just in a dashboard. Look at the comments, look at the, sometimes clicks can tell you a fair bit, sometimes they're completely useless, but look at the sentiment, right? How do people respond? Ask the creator what it was like for them. Did they receive any messages? Often they'll have received feedback, and sometimes all you need is a handful of really great leads. And that's really a success already. So yeah, take a look overall, see if there's seasonality involved. If you work with someone for like 6-7 months, see how they performed over time, and see if you can like recognize any patterns, and then maybe take that into consideration. But definitely always look at the bigger picture. And I always love looking at reach, because in the end, we're buying, as a brand, right? We're buying views, we're buying exposure, access to community, of course, too. But yeah, we're also buying reach. So look at the reach.
Yeah, I also think shares and saves are really interesting as well. Like who's actually engaging and sharing content. Then oh, the audience is really enjoying this. So let's look into that. How about you, Whitney?
There was somebody in one of our surveys who was talking about having taken a chance on an influencer who was not in the right geography for what they were doing. And I think we had somebody in chat who mentioned working for travel and getting a lot of follows after the first, but then afterwards it just sort of drops off. They're not really seeing a whole lot. And I want to talk about sends for a second, because this person from our survey had their content sent by people who saw it in the wrong geographic demographic, sending it to the people that they knew who did live local to this place, and ended up actually patronizing, becoming customers and all these things. It was just like, oh my God, like what a risk to take for something that was like hyper local, for it to pay off in such a huge way.
Wow.
So just keep it creative, like think outside the box. And sometimes if it doesn't feel like it's, maybe going to be a fit, you have some extra budget. You may not have extra budget, but it's a thought. It's a thought. Look at everything, because there might be metrics that aren't directly follows or, shares or something that might be telling a bigger part of the story.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Thank you, ladies. So many influencers in the niche I'm in are all on exclusive long-term contracts, even sometimes people at 1K. How would you guys tackle this? Thank you very much, Maya. Good question.
I'm having cheeky ideas. I'm just having like inappropriate cheeky ideas.
Cheeky ideas.
I think it depends. Are you speaking to an agent? Are they already being represented by someone? Or are you speaking to someone who's reached like 1K followers and you talk to the creator directly? Because if you do, I would absolutely advise them to get out of that contract, not even for me and my brand, but just for their own sake. Give them advice that they won't get from those other brands that will lock them into long-term contracts. Yes, I know I said long-term is here to stay. However, if they prevent you from working with other brands, no, just what you can offer them, the creator, is actually to be, a voice of reason, to give advice, and to be like a genuine partner that is happy for them to be successful. That would be my advice. So kind of like, like sneak your way into just actually becoming their friends, and just be like, look, what else can we do? Are you interested? Why are you locked in?
I think just reaching out, being human as well. Invite them to coffee if you can, or invite them on a call. Just have an honest chat with them. I think honesty is the best. I mean, if you've got 1,000 followers and you've been roped into a long-term contract, I don't know what the logistics are. Sometimes brands can take advantage of smaller micro creators. It happens, unfortunately. And I think just having those honest conversations is key. Because some influencers don't know the true value of being locked into a exclusive deal, because they should be charging much more. I just say, be honest, get on a call, have a chat, invite them to coffee, and just see how you can both collaborate and work forward. Whitney, anything to add?
There's been so much great advice around this question. My only add is just be super gentle when you make when you give this advice, because nobody likes to feel like they've made a bad deal. Nobody likes to feel that way, and nobody likes to feel dumb. Me, I don't like to feel dumb. So just be super, super, super gentle when you maybe give that advice too.
Excellent. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Thanks, guys. Next question. Got loads of questions coming now. Okay. What do you use to find the niche influencers? Well, I'm going to start as well. You can use platforms. You can just go onto Instagram, TikTok, and manually find them, like I said. But that just takes so much effort, time. We've actually done a YouTube video on it. There's ways that you can find these niche creators, but I have to say, using tools like Modash, fantastic. It will save you so much time. We have the best AI creator search. You can literally drop a picture of your product and be like, who's talking about this product? And it will recommend influencers that have your product in their content, and you can reach out to them and be like, hey, saw that you love our product, could we work together? It's just so much easier. That's like, how about you guys? I feel like you feel like the same as me.
I don't want to pitch, but also like this is what I would genuinely use.
Yeah, I mean, I worked for such niche brands in the past, like a language learning app, I mean, okay, a sports brand, probably not so much, but a children's meditation and sleep app, right? So those are definitely niches, I would say. And I would have separate Instagram accounts and try and feed them to kind of feed the algorithm. But it's such a long term, and I forgot about that account, and actually it showed up last week, and I was like, oh, I have this account. Yeah, definitely that's how, I started using Modash myself. And it's hashtags are out. Like, maybe we should tell you guys what to not do. Don't waste your time on hashtags, please.
Oh, it takes so long.
That's my hot take.
I mean, I run a maternity brand called Stretch Suit, and finding pregnant ladies, it takes time. And with Modash, you can literally find, pregnant ladies with bump, and you can set like the time frame. So in the last 9 months, you actually get, people who are currently pregnant. It just saves you so much time and hassle. So I think we're going to we're just going to plug Modash for this one. Just to make life easier.
Had to happen.
Okay, next question. If we don't have any more, we can make some up. Okay, what would you say to creators that don't want to participate in giftings? Jess, thank you for that question. It depends on the product, right? If you're gonna gift, I don't know, like just a hairbrush, then I don't know why I've got a hairbrush today. You're probably going to get a hard no, because it's, just make it interesting, whether that's, there's an event that's happening that you can invite them to, maybe completely customize this and have their face all over it. I don't know, something, just make it extra special. It's like Heinz did with the baked beans. They literally just put the 3 names on the beans, and it was so relatable. So I think with gifting now, you have to be super personalized. It has to be purposeful, especially if it's like a low value kind of item. How about you guys? What do you think?
I definitely would have said hyper personalization. Just figure out a good way to delight your creator. I think about the gal that was criticizing that Korean foundation brand. I think it was Tier. They may have been the ones with the red. Yeah. This brand recall for you. And she was saying, yeah, you don't have any shades for me. Like, what are you going to do? And they sent her this massive clamshell filled with like a full new line of foundations for darker complexions. And that, what a great way to delight. Now, I'm not in the back room. I'm not in the negotiating room. I don't know if they worked that out or what they did, but like, if somebody sent me a giant clamshell or the Nosferatu coffin filled with foundation, concealer and stuff, I'm absolutely going to post on social media about it. I posted over an email. It doesn't take a whole lot. I feel like, if you figure out a good way to delight somebody, and of course, like, your mileage is going to vary. Like, if you don't have the budget to do hyper personalization or what have you, maybe there's another way you can delight somebody.
I also think it's expectation as well. So I think lower the expectations. Don't say, oh, we want you to do a whole YouTube video. Creating a whole YouTube video, that takes a lot of time and effort to do. So make it like low, like maybe just an Instagram story, just start. I think a lot of brands going quite high. They're like, oh, we want a reel and we want 30-day advertising rights. That is a massive turn off straight away, because you kind of feel like you're being used in a way. So I think, just be very mindful in the outreach.
I also think, remember that a gift is called a gift for a reason. And it's not like, I mean, we have Christmas coming up, you can't buy someone's love and affection. So if a gift, it's meant to be a gift and you can't really expect anything in return. If the creator says no and you're surprised by it, ask why. Figure out why they said no. You can learn from it, best case. But if they just really are not interested in your product, don't waste your time either.
Another quick little advice is, if you're a founder of a brand, or if you have access to your founders, maybe get them to send the outreach or send them a DM on Instagram. So I'm just talking from my experience running Stretch Suit. I reach out personally to every single person that we want to collaborate with, and I get responses all the time. So if you've got access to faces of your brand who can reach out for you, then bonus, I'd say. Okay, next question. Do you feel hyper-personalization with influencers, though, can create I missed out FOMO response from consumers if they can't get the same thing? Fine line between it with exclusive events, etc., being too exclusive. Thank you, Maddie.
I was
Yeah, I
actually
don't think-
typing a response.
Yeah, so was I. Go ahead, Whitney.
I was going to say, just the creator in question that I was mentioning earlier, I don't think she was able to work with like the 50 some foundations. And so she was able to then roll that initial content into testing content and then into like giveaway content. So she was able to bring her community in on like the delight, if you will. And I think that that's a good way to go about doing things too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you won't always have the chance to hyper personalize anything. Like I worked for apps previously, so my product didn't really change very much, so I couldn't really do that. Yeah, so I guess gifting won't always be enough, especially not nowadays in terms of the trends, right? See what else they like. Maybe they want the VIP treatment. Maybe they want to be involved and give feedback first, and then they've invested some time into your brand, and then they're like they feel special. So yeah, that'd be my advice.
I think you can also flip it on its head. Maybe like Tala did, invite your top performing top customers to events. Maybe like flip it on its head and just go for a different approach. Perhaps that could work. Hey ho. All right, move on to the next question. How many follow-ups should you do for collab outreach before moving on? Is there a rule of thumb? I usually send 2 emails and maybe 2 DMs, but I'm afraid of spamming influencers or giving them a bad impression of our brand. Zen, very good question from experience. If you do not get a response after 2 or 3 goes, then stop chasing. I swear I've got a couple in my inbox that they're probably on their 10th follow-up. And yeah, it just comes across as spammy. And also be very cautious if someone else in the business is also chasing them as well, because sometimes there's a miscommunication internally, and that's not a good look for your brand. And we have great features in Modash that actually prevent you from doing that. But Anna, what's your hot take on it?
Yeah, same. Don't overdo it. I think I personally sent 3 emails to begin with, all about like 4 or 5 business days apart. And then I wait, I think, a month or 2 and send like, I'm just like, hey, I'm still interested. And then maybe another 6 months later. But yeah, it's always sad to be ghosted. Oh, fun subject lines can help. That's what I've done.
Yeah.
I've sent a little ghost before saying, are you ghosting me? that got a response, even though it was a no. But yeah.
I do think following up like maybe like 6 months time is not a bad shout, because sometimes it could be like if you're especially in Q4, that creator may be so busy they just haven't got the headspace. Just follow up at a later date. Whitney, any tips?
I think 2 is absolutely fine. Maybe 2 in a cheeky social DM in case that email inbox is just a graveyard where hopes and dreams go to die. And I think actually we had Merritt from up until recently, Loop Earplugs, who was on our webinar a couple months ago, and I believe she said the same thing, like 2 and a DM on social and move on. Like I think following up after 6 months is a great idea, actually. Just in case it was a weird time.
Yeah, so 1's fine, 2's fine, 3 is overkill. I agree with that. I think the 3rd, maybe 4th is overkill, I'd say. But fabulous. Well, we actually do have a final poll for everyone. And I want to know, have you learned any new tips to implement in 2026? Perhaps you've learned loads from this webinar. Maybe you got a few things that you can definitely things to think about, or not really at all, or maybe this is not applicable to you. So guys, Whitney, Anna, where can people find you? LinkedIn, Instagram?
LinkedIn. Yeah, definitely on LinkedIn. My full name is Anna Maria, so don't be surprised by that.
How about you, Whitney?
LinkedIn for sure. And if you really want pictures of cats and weird castles I walk by, then yeah, sure. Also Instagram if you'd like. You're gonna have to look for me though. I'm not gonna tell you.
Everyone pop their handles in the chat. let's carry on this conversation over on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear your thoughts about this webinar and also to engage with us as well. So we're going to pop our handles in the chat as well, but pop yours in because I'm going to follow you all after. But guys, thank you so much. Whitney, Anna, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. It was so fun.
This was great, actually.
Great questions as well. I think
yeah.
it's super interesting. I would have loved to have all of you on here for a big discussion. Really
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much to everyone attending. You will receive the webinar replay in your inbox so you can rewatch it at any time. We're also sending additional resources to keep an eye out for your email. So before we wrap things up, I actually want to see the results from the poll because I'm interested to know if you guys have learned. I've almost forgot about the poll. Oh, definitely things to think about. And I've got loads. And a few of you not really, but that's fine. That's good to know, guys. So if you also feel like you have outgrown your process and you want help scaling your influencer program by using Modash, you can, of course, book a free one-to-one strategy session with our team. And you can do that by the booking link that's on screen in the comments chat section. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas and New Year. We will be doing more webinars in 2026, as well as a bunch of content, blogs, videos, you name it. So we'll catch you in 2026. Thanks, guys.
See you over there. Bye.
Happy New Year.